this climate change in
We
here.
on
We on the internet.
yeah.
Hello, China.
We're in the
Hello,
cloud.
Indonesia. Hello, Argentina. Welcome to La Follette. Some refer to
All
it
the ships at sea.
as Laugh-A-Lot, Tennessee. All you people with them smartphones,
That, yeah.
Now I lost the election, I had to downsize.
You lost your computer and lost your election. No, I see. Okay. You don't have your computer?
No, I'm downsized.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I lost the election, I figured it's over, might as well just
might as well
cut back.
hang it up.
I'm gonna learn to economize. Order more sand.
What's the name of that little town out there where they're having all this rise? Is it Ferguson?
Ferguson,
Massey's right across the road.
Massey's right across from Ferguson.
suburb of
Hey, you
St.
know
Louis.
that guy on that armored vehicle sitting up there with that tripod and that whatever sitting up there?
I'm not
In
seeing the
Ferguson?
picture.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't see the first rights or whatever over there where they sent out all the
SWAT teams.
SWAT teams and
No,
whatever.
I didn't.
That guy
Yes,
sitting
that.
on top of that. These people are not serious about whatever, they're having peaceful demonstration. But if them guys went up against a serious bunch, they'd have problems, wouldn't they? They'd have to change their tactics.
Well, they screwed up, and it's a spooky thing when you get to think about
It
it.
is, it's spooky, buddy. When you see what came out there. What, you reckon, surely they don't have the chambers loaded in them weapons?
What are we doing with a paddy wagon? Have you seen our paddy wagon down there at the intersection? Right, it sits right there across from Big Creek Market all the time. It's a solid black paddy wagon, says the Follette Police Department on the side of it. What, are we gonna be arresting them out of these bars or something now, or maybe out of radio stations?
That could be.
We'll have room for 4. Paddy wagon.
Butter beans. We're about ready.
Whoops.
One minute. Are they asking for a 40-cent raise in property taxes?
That appears, that's what I heard. I was told that by a current county commissioner,
We need 60
who
cents.
won't be a
We're
county
on the
commissioner.
air, folks.
We're on the air, Bob.
Hey folks, we're on air. This is Wild Bob and Ronnie show. Comes to you on Saturday afternoon, August the 16th of 2014. We're real pleased to be with you. We're coming at you in a number of ways. We're coming to you at AM 1450 WLAF, or we're coming to you at 100.9 WLAF, or we're coming to you on UGTV, .TV, or we're coming to you on WLAF.com. So we got about 4 different avenues of getting your attention, and we want to welcome you. We have with us, of course, Ronnie Sharp, Jerry Kidd, and R.L. Henson, and we're all ready to just go at anything you folks decide we want to talk about.
We got AM and FM, and as soon as we can get C and D and E, we're gonna do that too.
Put the whole
And
alphabet in, huh?
And I'm that guest commentator that Jim Slusher don't want to be associated with.
Well, can you blame you? Hey,
Can't blame him a bit.
fellas, with all this coverage, it just crossed my mind. You reckon them fellas up on the space station can pick this up?
And why would they want to?
I bet they're sitting up there listening to this.
Is
They
it
probably
in
gotta
Russian?
jump out.
Is it in Russian?
No,
Folks,
that's just the elevator buttons.
folks, if you want to call in and challenge any of Ron and Bob's opinions, now, you don't want to challenge mine. They're chiseled in stone. But, if you wanna call in and contribute to the program or ask a question or anything, it's, 562-3557,
Or
566-1450, the radio station number. You can get us on AM 1450 or FM 100.9.
Right. Or UGTV.tv.
Watch us live over in China, folks.
Right. We're tickled to death to be with you. You know, we just come through a very interesting segment of our county political life in which I believe we replaced 11 of the 15 county commissioners. Is that correct? Or
We did the same thing 4 years ago.
5 of them made it, yeah. 10 of the 15 county commissioners were replaced. We just replaced the county mayor and the register,
And the assistant county mayor.
The assistant county mayor, don't
Got
forget who
voted
that
out.
go.
Right,
And
yeah.
that'll be a lawsuit, sure as world.
Yeah.
Big lawsuit.
Oh, yeah, hadn't David sued everybody he's ever worked for?
He may have missed one or two, but I'm not sure. I know he invited to sue me several times, but I ain't never got around to it
Right.
yet, but he
Right.
probably will.
Right. Well, like I said, we got some new people in store here, and we just wondered if the wash is gonna come out the same as it did last time.
Well, how'd you feel about the election, Bob? Were you pretty satisfied?
Well, as in all past elections, I'm not particularly proud of how many people turned out to vote.
What we got is the wrong people turning out to vote.
That's a good point. You know, low turnout means you got a happy public. Do you know in Switzerland, they never have more than 20% of the people turn out to vote? Because everything is run with common sense over there, and they don't want to replace them.
There's a law said everybody over got to own a gun too.
And you gotta have a place to hide it in your home that nobody can find.
Really?
Yeah, the sheriff actually comes in and sees if he can find your hidden weapons. And that's the way it used to be in England. The sheriff would come around and check and see if you were still proficient with your bows and arrows and slings and hatchets and swords, whatever you have to have. And if you were teaching your children to use bows and arrows and swords and things.
And throw rocks.
The sheriff would come around and they called it assizes. That was commands from the king. Now they call it executive orders. But back then they called them assizes. And buddy, you were required by an assize to have weapons and to be proficient in them.
You know, I've never understood why there wasn't more said about whenever they had Hurricane Katrina, they went down and took all the guns. What was the justification behind that?
Didn't do them any good. Them gang members, gangsters, or whatever they call them, were still in the streets and waist deep water shooting at helicopters.
But why in the world was there no uproar about them going and confiscating guns out of homes?
That was also military. They used to do that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Military troops, yep.
There's Posse Comitatus Act.
See it right there, exactly.
Well, they used military equipment at Waco when they burned Waco to the ground.
Bridge too, I guess.
Murdered 26 babies.
Well, it's spooky.
Well,
We're over-policed. We're definitely over-policed, over-equipped.
In 1956 in La Follette, the population was 6,000. I found no photograph of the police department. We had 4 full-time cops and 1 car. Today, the population is 7,300. It's gone up 1,300. We have 22 full-time cops and 4 part-time. Now, they saying they need 18 full-time and 4 part-time to police that 1,300 extra
We
people.
need to just get rid of them 1,300 residents, don't we?
Right.
Them our people moved in from North Carolina is what's wrong.
You really go.
that caused
You don't
that.
live in La Follette, do you?
Them
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm registered
Desperado.
with all it, yeah.
He's a La Follette resident,
Yeah,
pays La Follette taxes.
But you know,
You got a goat
thinking
farm,
about-
gives him in trouble.
you know, I've been thinking about the, slow growth of La Follette, far as population is
It's
concerned.
declining, it's actually
Well,
declining,
it
Bob,
has-
the
it
income's
has
declining,
declined, but,
the
I
per
mean,
capita
it-
income's
it's-
declining, the household income's going down, population's going down.
In 1956, about 1,300, but actually it has been higher. in
Yeah, it
the
was up around,
And, you
close
know,
to 8,000
This
at
shows
one time.
absolutely no consternation on the part of our city fathers. And you know why? They don't want any more people in town. All they want is some additional businesses to bring tax money. They could care less if they're additional people causes them problems, then they've got to buy more votes. So you don't have as many votes to buy with a small population. You buy them with splash parks, and if that's not enough incentive, to get people to vote.
You do it with employees, you hire.
No, then they give lunches and snacks at the, splash park to get the kids to come. Then, that's not good enough, they're gonna rent a skating rink for Christmas.
Ice skating.
Yeah, ice skating rink, yeah.
How many ice skaters we got in this county, you think?
Probably two.
How many drive to Knoxville? That's the only ice skating rink in within 100 miles would be
Well,
Knoxville.
don't you think if it was that popular that there would be more?
There would be, well, we would be in business. We'd
I
want
bet
us
Rocky
to have
Top,
one.
Rocky Top will get one of them, maybe a ski slope too. We
Yeah.
used to have ski slopes out at Rainbow back
You
then.
know,
Wait a minute, they just promised ski slope.
the Arabs over at Dubai built an indoor ski slope. Maybe that's what we need. That way we can ski year round.
Now,
I don't
woman, now
really
don't
ski
mention
uphill
that
on
too
that.
loud because the city council workshop might pick up on that.
They ought to rent one for a couple of weeks, you know, for $500,000 and see if it catches
Well,
on.
just move the Matterhorn over here for about 2 weeks.
Right, yeah, you know, they brought, the London Bridge to Arizona. I don't see why they couldn't bring the Matterhorn to here to Campbell County.
I was in, it's called, and I dispute the name, but it's called an ancient Spanish monastery. It's in Miami. And it was part of a monastery, 1600s. That's the reason I dispute ancient. I don't consider that ancient. But anyway, it was one section of this big church over a stone. And William Randolph Hearst he bought it, had it disassembled, crated up, and shipped here to the United States.
Had the stones marked so they could put them right
Yeah.
back where they were.
They disassembled. It took 20-something men over 6 months just to break the boxes open and unpack the rocks. And when they got done, they piled all the wood up and burned it and had 7 tons of nails just in the packing. Then poor old Willie, he got short on funds and they left it piled up till the early 1950s, and somebody else come through and funded it and put it back together. And they done a dadgum good job putting it together too. And
Well,
then they erased all the marks, I reckon.
Isn't the London Bridge in Arizona now?
That's what he just
Yeah.
said.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm deaf in this area,
Yeah,
maybe.
you know, they reconstructed.
Brain dead on
London
this
Bridge.
side.
And,
It's
as
legal
far as I know,
too.
as far as I know, London Bridge is not falling down.
Elders, what local can we talk about and get something going?
Well, I want to point something out. We got a La Follette Utility Company, which is supposedly owned by the people. It's part of our government.
You say
Owned
supposedly?
Yeah,
owned by the-
supposedly.
By the city of La Follette.
By the city of La Follette. Like a hospital used to be owned by the city of La Follette. Maybe we ought to sell LUB to somebody. But they've got over 100 employees. They've got about 104, 105 employees. The post office for the whole county has about 25 employees, including contract deliverers. And that would be they also have about 25 vehicles, including their contract drivers. Now they visit every home 6 days a week. In every business, 6 days a week. LUB only has to visit some water, about less than 9,000 water meters, or less than 10,000 water meters, once a month. And they need 4 times the vehicles and 4 times the personnel to make that happen. Explain that.
Well, this is one
I think Rusty Oric works down there too, don't he?
Yeah, he does.
Maybe he's applying that same business
I think they
philosophy
have,
down
I
to
think
New
they
Jail.
have applied the same economies that LUB uses to our county government. I was going to bring that up because, you know, I figure out my water bill down there. I use very little water, but I can buy water cheaper that's bottled out of state and shipped in here. I can buy it cheaper at the grocery store and pay taxes on it than I can get water from the tap. It cost me last month, a month before last, cost me $1.84 a gallon.
Well, it's gonna be a lot of work pouring that bottle of water down into your commode to flush it.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying, not at the price they cost. See, they charge twice as much to flush the commode as you do for the water. So, your sewer fee is quite outlandish here in this county.
If you haven't cut off the water, will that cut off the sewage?
Right. It's all hooked on the same bill.
So if he carries water in and flushes his commodes, he don't have to pay them.
Well,
They can't compute,
I never carry
they
water.
can't compute
Right.
how much
I
he
never-
flushes.
I never carry water.
Because you don't have a
in.
meter on that end.
Yeah, I never carry water in the flush commode, but I carry it in for drinking purposes, and also I don't particularly care to wash my face in that chlorine water either. So, that's one reason my face is dirty all the time.
They put a lot of toxic chemicals in our water, no doubt about that.
If you look a little deeper into it, it doesn't matter. The less water you use, the more it costs.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but that's what it is. If, let's say right
That
now.
has to do with their philosophy of saving, right?
No. You're looking the wrong way.
The more it costs you per gallon, the less you use, the more it costs you per gallon.
Okay, but let's say right now, if 50%, this is hypothetically speaking, if 50% of the utilities water users shut their water off and quit, they would have to double the rate on the other 50% because they've got to keep up the cost. I mean, to keep up, I guess what you would call,
Fixed expense.
yeah, I think, what do they use, maintenance of effort is what they use in the school system.
Yeah.
They call it maintenance of effort. But this applies anytime whenever they start going higher and higher and higher on rates, less people are using, just like electricity. If this would be something really interesting to get into, and the director over the utility, it'd be interesting to have him come on somewhere, anywhere, and answer questions. From what I can find out, the utilities, such as La Follette Utility and all other utilities, have to send in an estimate to the TVA with some sort of an agreement that they will accept so much electricity over a certain period of time. And there's a certain amount of loss in electricity. Of course, in your line, you have a little drop. But you take where you've got a tree that's up into your primary, just a limb up there bumping that primary. Every time it bumps, it'll drain off a little bit of current. That it's not going through the user's meter, because from the transformer in is insulated wire, and on the other side of the transformer your primary is a bare line. And when it makes contact with anything, even the earth, it's gonna pull off a certain amount.
Even the earth especially.
Even the earth especially, the earth's your common. You can even run, let's say that you could operate an electrical system without your ground on running a common all the way.
No.
If you put a lead into the earth, it's not as efficient, but it will work.
Okay. No, well, depending on how far you go.
Well, I can tell you from past experience, it
I
will
know
work.
you
I've
can,
done
but
it.
you ain't been that far yet.
No,
You see, there's a ground at
Yeah.
every pole,
that's correct.
and that reinforces the connection.
That's right, and it keeps it.
But if you send one wire, if you drive a ground wire in here and send another wire to Connecticut,
Yeah.
you ain't got nothing
You-
in
That's
Connecticut.
right. The earth is not that good of a
You ain't even
conductor,
got one in Lake City.
but it's good enough to
Oh, yeah.
cook you.
It'll light you up, but
It'll
now
light
if you
you up,
notice,
but
Stephen,
that's
what
right.
you're talking about, if you can go out here and hook to the hot side of a lead and hook the other side of your meter to measure it, and you'll measure 120 volts, and you'll have a light bulb in it, and it gets dim, because
Right.
once you start pulling current, it immediately loses.
It'll lose some, that's right. We have run it that way for a short, well, I'm gonna say a quarter of a mile, something like that. And the conditions were real wet,
To do what,
snow.
for what purpose?
Well, for the purpose that a big storm come through and took out everything and
I mean, to power what?
house.
Really?
Sure did, run a
It's
house.
not
that way.
good for some stuff.
Well, I'd say you're right. But we did run a house for about a week or two. They was covered up. And we had a
It's not good.
primary line and we run on a primary.
That's not
Now,
good for-
I believe that all of your counties around here get their electricity from TVA. Is that
Pardon?
not, I believe all your counties around here get their electricity from TVA.
There's no other means by which to get
Okay,
it.
all right, well, solar panels.
Oh, yeah, solar panels, that's right. Yeah, you got
But
solar.
as far as I know, the public utilities gets all of its electricity from TVA.
That's correct.
No, it
Anderson-
was solar panels.
So does Anderson County, and so does Claiborne, and
Well, there's,
Union and Scott, you know. But
TVA
we-
serves,
But we have the highest electrical rate of the 5 counties. Now, why would that be?
When I lived in Canada, Georgia, I bought my electricity from Georgia Power. Georgia Power bought their electricity from TVA. Now, they have these dividing lines. Right across the main highway from me, they got theirs directly from TVA. They paid higher rates than I did with Georgia Power, who bought their electricity from TVA. Explain that one.
Well, since I
Profit margin.
TVA will rip you off.
profit margin.
since I don't live down there and it does not affect me, I am concerned why Campbell County has a higher rate than all the
Well, I
town
can
around.
explain that to you,
Okay,
because we've got the biggest financial department in the whole state, I think, and it takes a lot more people to run our business here, therefore electricity costs more than it does
you
anywhere
talking about the financial department?
else. Yes, that's what I'm
The
talking about.
finance
The
office
public
in Campbell
util- you talking
County,
about the public utilities or the
No, I'm
county?
talking about down in Jacksboro. I mean, it takes that much, it's to count money, Bob. It takes all them people in this county to count money. You know it takes more to count money for the electric department than it does anybody else
In other
too.
words, we're slow counters.
I reckon
Well,
that's
yeah.
it.
Okay.
If we could count better, we wouldn't stand for some of this stuff.
Let me mention something else. The electric part of the LUB does have some regulations on it as far as TVA. There's a maximum they can charge and a minimum, okay? And evidently, LUB charges the maximum. But when you get to the water and to the sewer, if you remember, under Cliff Jennings, they got the city charter changed where LUB could set their own rates without going through city council for the water. So LUB, if they need more money, they got a few secretaries that they wanna give a raise to or something, then they don't have to go to the county commission, to the city council, which supposedly is the one that's supposed to govern and control the La Pollock utility, since it's owned by the city of La Pollock. So they can set their own rates now, thanks to Cliff Jennings and David Young and Bob Fannin. They were allowed to set their own rates rather than go through city council, which one they were wanting that rate that time. They couldn't get an increase, so they finally got somebody else new in there, and they said, well, we won't have to worry about the people anymore. We'll just set our own rates.
That's a fact, Bob.
Here we go.
Well, we've been in business here for 75 years. I've had 40 years experience in the ambulance service. We have a Class A ambulance service. Almost 22 employees. 22 employees that we pay for all on our own. How much taxpayer money goes into this operation? Absolutely nothing. Does it? We do all kinds of ambulance service. We're laying grading for the state, the Class A service. We can haul any kind of patients. We can go anywhere. We do a lot of emergency transports, nursing homes, hospitals, doctor's offices. We go anywhere that patients want to go. We appreciate the opportunity to serve each and every one of our patients. Anybody, any kind of insurance you have, we're qualified to take it. If you need medical transport, that's an ambulance, then call the company that does not require taxpayer money. They either please you or they go out of business. Call Vital Care at 562-9370. And if you can't remember that, just call 911 and tell them you want Vital Care. Works every time.
All right, it does, but now 562-9370 is not another number for 911, but you can call 911 and get 562-9370.
Now,
There's
fellas,
something like that.
with the new county commission we've got coming on, new members, new county mayor, the County Powers Act is the discussion of it is what called Rule 13 to be enacted, which stated that you could not speak before the county commission unless you put it in writing and submit it to the mayor, and he had to approve it, whatever you wanted to discuss. Seems to me like now would be a good time to rescind Rule 13. And I don't mean to amend, I mean rescind. Vote it out. Start again if they need, whatever rules they need, but to do away with this thing.
Which one? The County Powers Act?
Both of them, actually.
And opt out of county building code.
And opt out of this county building codes thing. Whenever you all talk about business and you name it, anything you want to talk about, the more rules and the more regulations you put on things, the less people can do. If it costs you a ton of money just to abide by all the inspections and everything else, and then you have to give up, well, let me put it this way. I think you have to have a little bit of pride in whatever in order to go out here and make a place, to build a place or whatever. And I'm talking about working people. And I'm not talking, well, let me change that around. I'm talking about the people who earn their money out here the way we do. Now, you take people who are sitting in an office somewhere, a big government thing, and they get paid tons of money. They'll go along with all these rules because it don't cost them as far as like it does us.
Have you ever noticed that the people who favor all these rules and regulations the most are the ones who violate the law more than anyone else?
They can get away with it.
Well, a lot of times they don't get away with it, but they violate more rules and regulations and laws and get busted more.
Well, whenever they put this big spiel on to us down here about these building codes, the bankers were there. And I know you got to have banks, but here's the thing. The bank can get away, without having to have a building inspected or anything else, as long as that county, as long as you and I are paying for the inspection.
Well, I've noticed that a lot of contractors support building codes because they know that it's gonna make it harder for them to build, therefore they can charge more.
Right, you can charge more, but also the individual out here that's trying, I've seen people, I know one guy in particular, he started out, bought him a little piece of property, built him a basement and put a cover over it, lived in it for, I don't know, for maybe a few years, didn't have water, anything, carried his water, done everything, but he paid as he went. And now he's got a place that's nice, and it's paid for. Now,
That's bad. They ain't nobody get no cut of that.
that's right, they didn't, but if he had not done it this way, he would have been in debt for the rest of his life, trying to pay off all the interest and all this stuff, and the inspectors and the bankers and everything else. And that's why the guy starting out here on the bottom has such a hard time getting started. They'll rule him to death.
Tax him to death,
and
regulate him
tax
to
him to death,
death, fee him to death.
And this is, whenever I hear these politicians talking about all this bunch of crap, they haven't been there. They've been the ones that goes over to the bank and says, I want to borrow you 100,000 here, write it down, sign their name and go ahead. And because they got 200,000 or 300,000 coming in from not digging ditches, but from something else. And I don't think it's right. I think if you want to build, if you're going to make a mistake in a building and it don't cost nobody but you, I think you ought to be allowed to make that mistake. But what if it works? What if what you build works? And I'll go back to a mistake. A mistake ain't nothing but education, is all it is. And you take a look at our politicians, how many of them you think have made mistakes in their decisions? Just like this County Powers
They get away with it.
Well, this County Powers Act, this thing was put in here to put the shaft to the citizens is what it was for. And one of the key things of it is to where that the county could enter in to 25-year contracts. Otherwise, they can't enter into about a 5-year contract. You take this waste disposal and probably several other things, I'd say what was that lighthouse thing? That was most likely a 25-year contract. And these are the type of things, like I say, lighthouse, that's fine and dandy. As long as William Beard and all the other people who want to vote for it, let it be a private enterprise and let them do it instead of tacking this on to the taxpayers.
Well, see, they probably would do it now if the county will guarantee it like they were gonna do to
That's-
start with.
Well, also they didn't tell us the truth. They said that the taxpayers wouldn't be on the hook for it.
What?
They told us that, but anytime
Oh,
you
lied like
That
a
was a
dog.
lied like
Lied
a
like
about
a
it,
That
dog.
was a lie, too.
Oh, man, I'll tell you.
and there's no consequences for it. I guess a few of them got voted out, but it's just not right. That's all there is to it. It's not right. And I guarantee you there's 1 or 2 or 3 things are cooking right now that's going to burn the taxpayers out there that we're not heard about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, E.L. Morton says he's gonna go over every department very carefully. Departments that he has authority over, and he's gonna check all the employees. There's gonna be like a 90-day, tryout of all the probation of all the employees. You know, I think E.L. Morton's gonna try to do a good job. You know, he never claimed that he, managed a $20 million budget down at Fort Campbell. He claimed that he implemented programs in the amount of $20 million worth of equipment, supplies, clothing, housing for an entire battalion. So I think he's been real honest. He has never claimed that he's brought business into this community. He's never said, I brought Food City in here, or I brought Food City into Woodson's, or he never said, I brought Bojangles in here. Others have claimed that for him, campaigning for him. And So I have a good feeling about E.L., don't you?
Well,
And
you
he'll
know,
be more honest than William ever was.
you know, I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth as I usually do. With the size of the people in Campbell County, I wouldn't be bragging too much about bringing additional heating places in.
What was that,
I'm
Bob?
sorry about
That was
that,
Bob's.
That's B.O.B.
That's B.O.B. Yeah.
I got biggest
Well,
trouble
you
I
know,
got in the
E.L.
most.
Martin's a pretty hefty
I
fella
know
too.
he is. And did you see that when they was standing
you talking
beside him
about?
when they gave that check?
No, I didn't,
In the picture in the press.
no, I didn't see that.
He's pretty helpful fellow too, but most phone calls I got was when I told the story about this woman pulling up at the grocery store and she parked so close so she wouldn't have to walk and get any exercise. And when she got out of her car, she waddled up to the drink machine and got her a big 16-ounce drink, and then she went in the store and got her groceries. So, you know, I got in a lot of trouble over that statement there.
Well, folks, you need to talk to your county commissioners because, the old county commission, now thank God Monday night, it's not on the agenda for a tax increase.
Is this the, oh, okay, this is the,
Monday night, the last meeting of
Last
the
meeting.
old county commission.
right,
It's not on the agenda. That don't mean they won't bring it up,
What's that?
the tax increase.
They won't do that.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so hopefully they won't. But the new county commissioners, everybody needs to be talking to them because, some of the old county commissioners
They
want
might do that.
they want a 40-cent tax raise. Jeff Marlowe wants a 40-cent tax raise, which would raise it from $1.86 on the 100 to $2.26.
And it's a
On the
20% raise.
It's a 20% raise. Folks, that's way too much. Because Marlowe's the one that's got us into this problem of a financial shortfall. He's to blame 100% for all the borrowing, all the mismanagement of the money, and the shortfall. He spends like a drunken sailor. He borrows like a drunken sailor.
Drunken sailor quit spending when he runs out of money.
Well, Marlowe don't run out of money, does he?
See, that's the reason he's not like a drunken sailor. He don't run out.
And folks, the new county commission needs to live by the state constitution says in Article 2, Section 1, there's 3 divisions of government, legislative, executive, and judicial. It says in Section 2, Article 2, that these will be separate divisions, and one shall not rule over another, one shall not give his rights away to another, except what is specified in the Constitution. And I can't find in the Constitution where it's specified they can give up their authority.
Well, they have. You
Well,
know.
ours did.
Yeah, ours did. They give it.
Jeff Marlowe and Joe Coker and David Young and William Beard, now E.L. Martin and whoever his number one man is. And E.L. Martin, I recommend you hire Fred Cole as our recruiter. He's a sophisticated man, a world traveler, and he knows people all over the state. Put him in charge of your board, your industrial board. He'd be a great asset in your office. And but we really need to make sure.
Now, do you really think Fred can do that without a 5-year plan?
Well, hey, he ought to be in there for 4 years. We'll try a 4-year plan.
Well, I thought Fred was for all them 4-year planning deals.
But the new commission needs to throw Marlowe and Coker and them, put them back in the pews with the rest of the public. They are not part of the legislative branch. If you need information from them, have your secretary send them a letter or subpoena them to come in if it's an investigation. In fact, I would recommend that the new county commission subpoena Jeff Marlowe to turn over every check he's ever written, or copies of every check he's ever written, and do an analysis of what's going on in his office. Because, you know, when our school superintendent, Charles Martin, was fired for splitting checks to avoid the bid process and the state law on bidding, Marlowe signed off on every one of those checks 2 and 3 times each. He had to sign off on the purchase orders, he had to sign off on the approval, and he had to sign the check. And so he knew exactly what Martin was doing and was actually participating in it, because Martin gave him $16,000 a year out of the school budget to reward him for helping him split
It
those
actually
checks.
didn't come out of the school budget, but he said they had it in their budget to pay him an extra $16,000. It really come out of their general fund.
But wasn't that a payoff for Marlowe helping Martin split them
I would
checks?
assume it to be, yeah. I would look at it.
There was a lot involved in that. It come down to falsifying documents as far as
Right.
qualifications, PhD certificates.
Oh,
There
there's
was
all
all
kinds
sorts
of
of
things
things
went
involved.
on under Martin.
We got our PhDs from Western Australia, where'd they get theirs?
Yeah, and they're worth just exactly what we paid for
You bet.
them.
We got another upcoming
Yeah,
commercial
we do
here.
here. We're gonna talk a little bit about Baskin Robbins.
On Bigger Wilson. Been here off and on for over 30 years in the same spot. Pumping propane, doing repairs on containers, heaters. I'm the only one in the county that'll do you a repair on your tanks if you need it. I sell propane gas, liquid propane, and I've got plenty of competitors, and I can easily compete with them. That's grills, backup heat, substitute heat, grills, campers, motor homes, you name it. And if it comes in through that door, I can take care of it. I'm here Tuesday through Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 8 till 12. They could call me at 562 5444.
What's his number?
562-544-5444.
5444.
Right.
They're fine.
And diggers down there every day, I guarantee there ain't no cold weather inside these words, have good sleeping weather at night. But digger is there ready to work on your propane equipment, tune it up, get you ready for the winter, give you that good flavored propane for you to grill on. He's just ready to do it right down there in Sawmill Holler, right where the road splits and where they put up, or get ready to put up a new Ellison Road sign. They got a stop sign there, but they ain't got a street sign up yet.
How come they get new signs? Somebody
Well,
wipe
they never
out
had
one?
a sign for Ellison Road there.
No.
The Ellison goes to the right.
Mhm.
They've never had a sign there, never had a stop sign until recently.
Well, they didn't have a stop sign, but they had a street sign.
I don't think so.
How did I know it was Ellison's Road?
Because that's what it said on the map.
That's what it said on the sign, that's where I read it.
Well, it may have been, but I don't know where it said.
I don't know, it may be gone now. Maybe it's just on the other end.
Well, that's what I think, that's what it
Well,
is.
you may be right.
Yeah.
Folks, I've got a news alert.
All right.
Flash. I have learned from 2 sources that there was a big meeting at Dennis Potter's home prior to early voting, and before any serious campaigning got started, I cannot pin down everybody that was there, but at this meeting they decided who was going to win all of the elections. Now, My understanding is Tom Hatmaker was there. Now, Tom, you can call our number here if you want to disagree with this, but I've got it from two sources that you were there.
He forgot to turn in his ballot, didn't he?
Yeah, Elizabeth Asbury was there, Dormus Miller, Todd Nance, E.L. Morton, of course, Dennis Potter. I don't know if Cliff Jennings or Marie Ayers or Rusty Horick or David Atkins was there. Jerry Chadwell denied that he was there, and he claims Jim Slusher was not there. Haven't found out whether Clarence Lowe was there or not, but this was the Kingmakers Party.
Okay,
They were going to decide to work together and help each other win this election and work as a block. And my understanding is just about all of them went in except Todd Nance. The only reason he lost was Aline Beard carried
Jellicoe's
the 5 precincts up in the 5th district
Right.
by such a huge majority.
Right,
And I think WALF had already declared Todd the winner.
possibly.
And then the results from the 5th district came in a little later, and Aline Beard had won. And so we got a new kingmaker in town, folks. Now,
There's Tom.
there we go.
Now, let's see what we're going to hear. Well, Bob Ronnie,
WLAF did not declare Todd Nance the winner.
how are you?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that correction.
Right, thank you. What did he correct?
You did say he was leading when he came down and met with you. But you didn't declare him the winner.
I think he's gone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Well, we need a correction, but they did declare him as leading.
He was leading at one time.
He was leading.
I was
He was
even with him at the start, and I wasn't even running.
Well, when he came down and met with the people here at WLF, he was leading.
Yeah, but when right before the election results started coming in, I was even with him on all fronts.
Another
All right,
correction.
well,
Another
Bob
correction.
Ronnie,
Fellas, I was there, and Todd called the radio station where it was final, and he said he wanted to thank everybody and express his appreciation. And he, at that point, did not know if he had won or lost. We still weren't sure about that.
But he was leading.
He was on the telephone. He may have been leading at that time, but nothing was said about he won or declared him a winner. So,
Well, thank you very
Well,
much
thank you
for
very
that
much.
correction.
thank you, fellas.
right.
You get that? You get that?
Yeah, we got the
Okay.
facts on that. Thank you.
Right.
That's one mistake this year already. And it's just August.
Well, I made a mistake one time in 1956. I guess I was
I
in
think-
for another one.
I think they made a mistake back about 1940 around where you was at too.
Yeah, drowning.
34 was a bad year for this country.
Now, the interesting thing is about this Kingmaker meeting is there was no money put up.
How you know?
Everybody had to find their own money. That's according to my two sources. That Dennis Potter brought them all together.
There we go.
Oh boy, another great.
What have you done again, Jared? Well, Bob Ronnie,
You know what? 1940 was the year I was born, and I'm the best hand to kick people that you have ever run over.
So they made mistakes in 39 too then, didn't they?
yeah.
I didn't get all I wanted, but we'll live with it, and we'll go on. And we'll stand up for what we think's right. If it's not right, we'll find out later. Hey, what do you think of that?
43. Somebody made a
She
mistake.
asked a question there.
What? What was the question?
What do you
What
think?
do you think about that? You stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for it.
If you don't stand up, they'll knock you down.
If you do
Good
that,
for you.
you're gonna hit
If
too.
you do stand up, they'll knock you down. But there's one thing about it. I was born in 1940, and they might kill me for my hide's too tough for them to eat
like younger women.
Younger. Yeah, buddy.
Older
There's
women
a lot of
make
things
good
I
women.
don't like, but I get a lot of it anyway, and I do a lot of stuff I don't like. But somebody has to do it.
But I still consider you a younger woman.
I agree with that.
Where's the beef? Oh, beef,
That's Clara Quilla, I want you to go.
Boy, you are giving your age away if you remember that commercial.
Least enough to put on a hamburger. We can't give all we've
Well,
got
you
away,
look-
but we can
You
give
were up and predate me here in a minute.
I'm gonna bring, Ronnie Sharp a quart of tomato juice, and if he breaks my jar, that's a good reason to kill him.
You need to bring it to Bob, he won't let it go to waste.
Yeah, I know it, but I know what he'll put in it, and I don't want it.
No, what he'll do is let it grow higher, and then he'll drink it, and Vital Care get more business.
Call Vital Care.
Right, then, yeah, I call it vital care.
Yeah, he'll slip some out of his back pocket and put in that flask, and I don't want my mayor juice used for that.
Well, now let me tell you what you do, what I've done, you know. I got a little age on you, I believe, and I've got so old that I am really, in all honesty, I am in my second childhood.
Yeah.
I'm in my second childhood, and I tell all you women, with me in my second childhood, if you mess with me, I'll have you up for sexual child abuse.
Lord have mercy. We got enough of them in this country.
We love you, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
See ya.
I'm innocent. I don't know I've insulted anybody today.
She calls all the shows.
I know.
She's a good listener and
Yes,
watcher.
she is, she's a
I'm a
sweetheart.
good citizen.
Yes.
I've known her ever since she was a girl. Well, not hard.
Well, I've never met the lady, other than right here on the show.
I don't think I've seen her in 30 years.
Right?
Don't think so.
But we appreciate you, we appreciate all of you that call in, and like I say, your concerns are our concerns, and even though we may make light of a problem, it does not take away from its seriousness. And you know, I've always felt if you can't laugh at yourself, you're not a very good person.
Yeah, that's true, because we all do something worth laughing about.
I know I'm probably the
You're the laughing stock.
strangest person around, you know, but it doesn't bother me.
Well, fellas,
Well, the last mistake I made was in 1956, but some people attribute it to youth and inexperience.
there you go. I hope that the county commission
And
will.
now they attribute it
What
to
was that, when you
dementia
got married?
dementia and Alzheimer's.
Is that when you got married in 1956?
No, I was only 13 then, Bob.
Okay,
I hope that the county commission will relook at all these rules that the last commission has nailed on to us. And if these rules that they have made were beneficial, I'd like for somebody to show me where any one of these rules has helped this county. And I'm talking about the county fires, the building codes, and now we're not talking about this, we're talking about the international building code is the one that has been adopted.
right.
And I'd like for some of them to, anyone to show me how that it has benefited the county. Or
We've
what,
got people from Paris calling every day wanting to relocate a Peugeot plant here.
yeah,
Is that French,
Okay.
Peugeot?
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you
And
realize
where-
that the International Building Code is a corporation? And
Yes, it is. It's a corporation.
It is a profit-making operation. It's owned by the same man that owns LegalZoom. He owns the International Building Code company.
Have you seen what they charge for books?
Yeah, I've got one of
those,
the books.
On those
Sure
codes,
have.
those
Yeah.
building codes?
The anything like this, just like the County Powers Act, all the things in there, if it has been of any benefit whatsoever to this county, they should be at least one or two of those people there. I mean, all 15 voted for it originally, but the ones that did now or whatever, that would object to rescinding this act, and it's gonna have to be brought up and for discussion, and I'm reluctant to discuss it myself. I think the thing, to use one of them four-letter words, I think the word sucks has got anything to do with it. That's about how I describe it. But it was not to benefit the citizens. Now, that's all there is to it. It wasn't to benefit the citizens.
You know,
No.
Mr. Henson, the old county commission never debated anything.
No, sir.
Everything was brought before them for a vote, and William Beard was even known for getting out and riding around and campaigning with county commissioners to get them to vote for something even before it came up that evening.
That is correct.
And they never debated any issue, they never discussed it, they never read it, and when somebody like Tom Hatmaker or Sue Nance or Beverly Hall or Bob Walden wanted to discuss a bill or something, Rusty Orick and David Atkins and Marie Ayers would shut them up. Oh, we don't need to talk about it, let's vote.
Here's this Rule 13 that says that we cannot speak there. I'd like for some of them to explain to us how that helped the county by not allowing the citizens to have their say.
Well, the past county commission didn't want to listen to anybody,
They didn't listen to
You
anybody.
know that from experience.
That's right. The
Jim
decision,
Slusher is one of the most active citizens we have as far as providing information to the county commission. And I've seen them sit there and shake their heads, roll their eyes, and everything, hoping his 5 minutes were up. They didn't want to hear it.
well, I believe I saw one, and I called his hand on it. He's sitting over there playing games on his cell phone or something, texting or playing games or something. When you're up here trying to
Handle the issues.
handle the issues or whatever. But just like the County Powers Act, whenever they voted it again the second time, they was asked how many read it, and so many said they read it. But then they was asked how many understood it, and there wasn't a single one of them that said that they understood it. They finally got forced into reading it to a certain extent. The first time they didn't even read it; they just voted it through. And I've got my feelings how I feel about that type of thing. But I'd like for any one of them to show us, and I'm reluctant to even go down there anymore. I think it's a waste of time, is what I think it is. Go ahead.
What about Ronnie?
I thought when you went in that courthouse, you're supposed to have your cell phone turned off.
We're talking about a county commission meeting, not
I'm
the
not
court.
talking about county commission meetings. It's supposed to be any on your leg or something that vibrates, you're supposed to get out of there and answer.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think the citizens should have a right to speak at these county commission meetings?
They should have a right to speak to a certain extent, but they're raging and raving and raging and raving, making everybody so nervous they can't think. They don't need to be talking. They need to be escorted out. You don't go in there cussing everybody out just because they give you a chance to say something.
I don't recall anybody using
It
curse
would
words.
be like, it would be like if you was there for a court case.
He denied it.
You keep cussing, the law put you down in the hokey.
Well, I don't recall, I only recall one cuss word used by one of the county commissioners at a meeting. He said one, and then he denied it, he didn't say it.
Oh, he was
And
a
then he
preacher,
said-
he wasn't supposed
I'm
to
talking
say.
about the people that's allowed to speak and the people that's sitting in the audience. They're supposed to respect the county commission, the school board, the head of the school, the teachers,
I remember when we got
sanitary, and
threatened.
everybody else that works.
I remember when they threatened to clear the courthouse one time.